Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Tanya Hertz. I am the director of the Regional Entrepreneurship Center, the Rec Innovation Lab at San Diego Miramar College. And what we are is we're an incubator for people who are wanting to start a business, right? From a very early stage, just an idea is all they need. And we help them to turn those ideas into businesses. And one of the mentors that we have at the Rec Innovation Lab is with us today. Her name is Desiree McComb, and she's here talking to us. We're doing these once a week, Monday, live little workshops where we're just talking about issues that are important to entrepreneurs right now. And one of the things that's most important and most on everybody's mind is what's going on in America with regards to the Black Lives Matter movement and issues that are really on the minds of young Black entrepreneurs. And that's why we invited with us today Desiree McComb to share a little bit about her experience and to ask her, Desiree, if you can talk a little bit about issues that you've faced, discrimination or these kinds of systemic issues and problems being a Black female entrepreneur.
Yes, well, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. So my company is Desi's Compliance Services. It's a labor compliance company for construction projects. So I've been in the construction industry almost 16 years now. And for 16 years, I've been like the only Black female in majority of the projects I've been on. And with that experience, I've experienced a lot of discrimination, not just as a Black person, but as a woman in general. And it's kind of carried over into my business as well. But I've been very blessed with the fact that I work remotely with majority of my projects. A lot of my clients don't even know what I look like, or at least not when they hire me. I'm sure they look me up later. But initially, when they hire me, they don't even know what I look like. So I'm very blessed with that. Reason being is because construction is a white male industry, and majority of the men are conservatives, like very strong conservatives, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being conservative, but unfortunately, a lot of times that comes with that is a lack of understanding and appreciation for diversity. I've had to, fight for diversity in my previous settings. I've tried to convince them to hire more Black people or, more females. And they say, oh, we're meeting the government standards, so we're doing enough. It's like, okay, well, I'm the one Black person on the project, so I guess they met their quota, which is horrible. But I've tried. And then things like Black Lives Matter, you mentioned that. I mean, they get so upset because they don't listen. They don't, they don't take what I have to say into consideration. So just as a Black female in the construction industry, I've just found myself being very careful with what I say and how I talk. And I've even had one client approach me and ask me some of my thoughts about some of the recent things going on. And I knew he was conservative, I could just tell. And so I was very careful with how I answered. I answered in a way that I knew would be suitable for a conservative without compromising my beliefs, So it's hard. I don't know why he asked. I don't know if he was trying to test or trying to see, but, I understand that, when they look at me, they don't want to deal with another, difficult Black person, right? They want someone that's going to be agreeable. And so I just have to be very careful with what I say, how I say it. It's been tough navigating.
Yeah, I mean, I get the customer's always right, kind of. I mean, I know in business as an entrepreneur, we want the business, right? We don't want to lose that sale. But at the same time, I mean, it's got to just be so.
Yeah. It does suck. I know that's not the right word to say, but it's just Yeah, I just have to be careful because majority of my clients look a certain way. And construction is a very small industry. Word gets around really fast. So, you know, I have to really be careful what I say, what I do, and how I respond to people. Even me speaking up, you know, in construction, to be assertive is looked upon as a strength. You know, they if you ever sat in a construction meeting, you would probably be amazed because you can't do what we do in construction, you can't do in any other industry. I mean, they're cussing each other out, you know, they're saying super inappropriate things. That's just how construction is. And then right after they go get a beer. That's just construction, right? But if I say something, if I speak up, if I'm assertive, then all of a sudden I'm just difficult, you know, and I honestly think that is because I'm a Black woman, because I have a couple of white female coworkers who are assertive, and it's a strength, you know. So it's just very interesting that, you know, anytime I've spoken up, and I try to speak up respectfully,
Right.
but still being assertive is still seen as me being a problem. But the other female coworkers, I mean, they're not as nice as me when they speak up, and it's seen as a strength. So I've constantly battled with that. Like, how do I stick up for myself, still get heard, and not be seen as difficult?
Right. Yeah, gosh. You know, and I know, I know from knowing you for years, I know how good you are at your job. I know that you're amazing, and everyone that I've talked to who's worked with you has just said how amazing you are. Do you feel like you have to be 10 times better than everyone out there?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. I'm constantly having to prove myself. Like you said, the people that work with me do speak highly of me, and that's how I'm able to get referrals. But for example, when I did still work for a company before starting my own company, it's like they knew how good I was. That's why they kept putting me on these extremely hard projects without training, by the way. They would just tell me to figure it out. They would throw me out there, and I don't know if they expected me to fail or not, but I never did. And I always, you know, met up to the challenge. But they still never respected me. They still never respected my opinion. I mean, I came up with a whole entire program, department for them. You know, I did a presentation to show them how they could better some of their practices, and they blew me off. But then I later found out that they actually took my ideas and ran with it without me.
Probably taking the credit for it.
Yeah. So what I think happened is I think they actually did respect my ideas. They knew that I was good at what I did. They just didn't want me to take the lead. And so I left the company. I started my own company. That's how my business got started, was because I was like, yeah, if you're not going to take it, then I'm just going to do it on my own.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's going great. But, you know, I look at that, and it's a blessing in disguise. You know, maybe I would have never started if they had taken my idea, but at the same time, I just felt so disrespected. But I knew, well, if they're taking my ideas, then that means I got something.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's, I love that. I love that because so many people who just feel just trapped and frustrated and like they're not being heard and they're not being respected. That's what I love about entrepreneurship is it's fair. It's a lot more fair. If you're good at what you do, then you can make it and nobody can tell you no. And so, yeah. So I really thank you so much, Desiree, for everything. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for being an inspiration to all of the entrepreneurs out there, especially at the rec. And I just want to invite everyone out there, if you have an idea, if you are looking for a place to start the idea and you're looking for support, we're here for you, right? We're here for you. Yeah. Come to us. We'll help you start your company and get listened to and be a little, yeah, and do the things that you can't maybe do inside of a company. So I want to leave it with you, Desiree. Is there anything else you want to share with us, share with the audience before we end it there?
Yeah, there's some things that we can all do to help make change. You know, listen to your coworkers if they have concerns or if they're saying that they're feeling a certain way. You know, just as a Black female in construction, I felt like I was always alone. I never had support. Whenever I would express experiences that I was having, sometimes they didn't believe me or they would just blow me off and just kind of say, oh, you're just using the race card. It's not a real thing. Or they would just laugh it off. You know, I've had clients that would come into the office and just talk to me differently than they would talk to everyone else. They would do the colloquial, you know, Black talk, where, you know, they would say, hey, yo, what up, girl? They would talk to me like that, and I don't even talk that way. And so when I brought it up to my coworkers, they just laughed it off, and they're like, no, he doesn't. But then one of my coworkers, she just so happened to witness it one day. He came in as usual, did the same thing, and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe he actually does that to you. And, you know, he doesn't talk to anyone else that way. And yeah, that's silly. It's not like that big of a deal. But at the same time, it shows disrespect towards me as a person, as a woman. And so just listen to your coworkers when they're telling you that they're experiencing things. You know, listen to understand, not listen to respond. And then try to see what you can do to make it better. Speak up. If you see someone being treated differently, say something. You know, just, I mean, in construction in general, we're a little bit behind the times in the fact that, you know, we still make the gay jokes and the sexual jokes. I mean, not just as a Black person, but as a woman in construction, I've experienced a lot of sexual harassment, not gonna lie, unfortunately. And I just had to learn to laugh it off because that's just, you know, the good old boys club, which I shouldn't have to do that.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like there's no protection for me yet in that industry. I've seen it happen where, you know, they get rid of the person. You know, I didn't want to be the person that they got rid of, even though, you know, that's retaliation, but they would wait the appropriate amount of time legally, and then suddenly you're gone, you know? So I saw that happen to people, and I it's like, I'm not going to speak up. I never spoke up. So if you see something happening, the only way we can change is when the majority start speaking up and saying, hey, that's not okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's enough is enough. I mean, we can't keep going the way that it's been, and we can't keep putting all the onus on you and on us, and you know, some of it has to be on them. And yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I promise to speak up. I promise myself, and I hope everyone else out there does too. So thank you, Desiree. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks everyone for being with us. Take care. Have a good one, and thanks for joining us.